If you are over 70, there are 7 quiet signs that can reveal whether you are aging better than most people your age. And the surprising part is this: most people do not lose these things all at once. They lose them gradually, little by little, so quietly that they often do not notice until one day, something that used to feel easy suddenly feels harder than it should. That is why this matters. Because if you still have most of these 7 signs, then I want you to hear me clearly from the very beginning. You are not just doing okay, you are aging remarkably well. And if a few of these signs have started to slip, that does not mean you are failing. It means you have caught them in time. In the next few minutes, you and I are going to go through all 7 together, one by one, in the simplest way possible. No grades, no embarrassment, no pretending, just an honest look at how well your body, your mind, and your spirit are holding up. And by the end, you will know exactly where you stand, what is going right, and what deserves a little more attention. Before we begin, let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Dr. Elias Novak, and I've spent years caring for older adults and watching, very closely, what separates the people who merely get older from the people who continue to stay strong, steady, sharp, and fully themselves. And if there is one lesson age has taught me, it is this: aging well is rarely an accident. It is usually the result of small strengths that are protected, repeated, and practiced over time. So let's begin. We'll start with number 7 and work our way to the most important sign of all. Number 7. You can rise from a chair without needing your hands. This may sound almost too simple to matter, but it matters more than most people realize. If you are sitting in a sturdy chair, ask yourself this: can I stand up smoothly without pushing off the armrests, my knees, or the seat? That one movement tells a powerful story. It tells you whether your legs still have the strength to support your independence. Strong legs are what help you get out of bed, off the toilet, out of the car, and safely through your day. They protect you every time you stand, turn, and move. In fact, one of the quickest ways a doctor can sense how well an older adult is holding up is simply by watching how they get out of a chair. If you can do it cleanly and steadily, that is an excellent sign. It usually means your lower body strength is still working for you, and that strength is one of your best defenses against falls, fatigue, and loss of independence. And if you struggle with it, please do not take that as a reason to feel discouraged. Take it as useful information, because leg strength is one of the most responsive things in the body. It can improve at 72, at 82, even at 92. A simple practice helps. Stand up and sit down from a chair a few times a day, slowly and with control. If you need your hands at first, use them. Then over time, use them less. That is how strength comes back. Not through dramatic effort, but through steady repetition. And that brings us to number 6, a sign people almost never check until it is already becoming a problem. Number 6. You can balance on one leg for several seconds without panicking or grabbing. Balance fades quietly. That is what makes it dangerous. It does not always come with pain. It does not announce itself. It just slips little by little until one day a rug, a curb, or a wet floor becomes a much bigger problem than it should have been. So here is the question. Can you briefly lift one foot and hold yourself steady for about 10 seconds while standing near something solid for safety? You do not need to be perfectly still. A little wobble is normal. What matters is whether your body can catch itself and stay organized. If you can do that on both sides, that is a very strong sign. It means your muscles, joints, nerves, and brain are still working together well enough to keep you upright and in control. Suddenly begin to behave differently, but it is one of the deepest forms of freedom there is, because balance is not just about standing on one leg. It is about walking through your own home without fear. It is about turning quickly, stepping over something, reaching for a shelf, getting dressed, and staying confident on your feet. And if your balance feels weaker than it used to, that does not mean you are stuck with it. Balance improves with practice. A few seconds at a counter, once or twice a day, can begin to retrain the body faster than most people expect. The body loves reminders. When you ask it to steady itself, it listens. Now, number 5 is one that surprises almost everyone. Because it seems like a small thing, but it often reflects something much bigger. Number 5, your grip is still strong. Can you open a tight jar? Can you carry grocery bags without feeling like your hands give up too quickly? Can you hold on to things with confidence? Grip strength may seem like a minor detail, but it often reveals a lot about total body strength. When the hands stay strong, the rest of the body often is not far behind. It is one of those subtle signals that the system as a whole is still holding on to muscle, resilience, and physical capacity. If your grip is firm, that is a very good sign. It often means you are maintaining the kind of strength that protects everything else. And if it has weakened, that does not call for fear. It calls for use. Squeeze a soft ball. Carry your own bags when it is safe. Open your own containers when you can. Use your hands with purpose. One of the quiet mistakes many older adults make is allowing all effort to be removed from their lives in the name of convenience. But a body that is never asked to work slowly forgets how. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is not avoid effort. It is keep a little of it in your life. Now, number 4 may be one of the clearest signs on this entire list, because it reflects so many systems at once. Number 4, you still walk at a steady pace without getting overly winded. Walking tells the truth. It tells the truth about your heart, your lungs, your legs, your balance, your confidence, and your stamina. That is why walking speed is such an important sign in later life. Here is the real question. Can you walk at a normal, steady pace and still feel reasonably comfortable? Can you cross a parking lot, move through a store, or walk down the street without feeling like your body is struggling to keep up? If the answer is yes, that is excellent. A steady walk usually means a lot of things are still working together well. It means your body is not just surviving, it is functioning, and that matters enormously. Because when walking starts to slow too much, when the steps get very short, very hesitant, very shuffling, it can sometimes signal that endurance, strength, or confidence are beginning to shrink. But here is the hopeful part. Walking is one of the most powerful ways to push back. You do not need perfect knees. You do not need a treadmill. You do not need to walk far. You just need consistency. 5 minutes counts. 10 minutes counts. A hallway counts. Marching gently in place counts. The body responds to movement far more than it responds to good intentions. So if you are still moving with a steady, comfortable walk, be proud of that. It is a major sign that you are aging better than many people realize. Now, number 3 is quieter, but it affects almost everything else on the list. Number 3, you still get truly restorative sleep. Not perfect sleep. Not the sleep of a teenager. That is not the standard. The real question is this: do you wake up most mornings feeling at least reasonably restored? Because restful sleep is where repair happens. It is where the body resets. It is where the brain organizes memory, the nervous system calms down, and the body recovers from the wear and tear of the day before. When sleep is poor for too long, everything else becomes harder. Balance is worse. Patience is shorter. Energy is lower. Cravings go up. Memory feels foggier. Movement feels heavier. That is why good sleep is not a luxury in later life. It is a pillar. If you usually wake up feeling decently refreshed, that is a powerful sign that your system is still recovering the way it should. And if your sleep has become fragmented, restless, or unrefreshing, do not simply decide that this is what aging has to be. Sometimes small changes help more than people expect. A regular sleep schedule, morning light, less late caffeine, a cooler, darker bedroom, a calmer wind down at night. These things often work because the body likes rhythm. And if you are exhausted no matter how much you sleep, or waking with heavy snoring or gasping, that is worth bringing up with your doctor. Now, number 2 is the one many people fear losing most. But I want to approach it gently, because people often misunderstand what healthy aging really looks like here. Number 2, your mind is still curious, engaged, and able to learn. Let me say something reassuring right away. Forgetting a name for a moment, misplacing your glasses, or walking into a room and forgetting why you went there does not automatically mean something is terribly wrong. Those little lapses happen at every age. What matters more is the bigger picture. Can you still follow a conversation? Can you still take interest in something new? Can you still learn, adapt, and stay mentally involved with the world around you? Because that is the real sign. A healthy aging mind is not necessarily a flawless mind. It is an active one. It is a mind that stays curious, a mind that still reaches, a mind that still says, "Let me try that," or "Tell me more." If that sounds like you, that is a beautiful sign. It means your brain is still engaged in the work that helps keep it sharp. Learning does not have to be formal. It can be a new recipe, a new app, a new game, a new route, a new skill, a new idea, a new conversation. The point is not complexity. The point is novelty and engagement. And if you feel like your world has gotten mentally smaller, do not judge yourself for that. Just challenge it gently. Read something different. Call someone smart and talk longer than usual. Try something you have never tried. A mind does not stay bright by accident. It stays bright by being invited to wake up again and again. And now we come to number 1. This is the deepest sign of all. It is the one that cannot be measured with a chair, a jar, or a stopwatch. And yet in many ways it influences everything else. Number 1, you still have purpose, and you still have connection. Do you have a reason to get up in the morning? Do you have someone to talk to, someone who knows your voice, someone who would notice if you disappeared into silence? Purpose and connection are not sentimental extras. They are health. People age better when their life still reaches beyond themselves, when someone needs them, when something matters to them, when there is a rhythm to the day, a conversation to look forward to, a task to complete, a person to care about, a place where they are expected. I have seen people with all sorts of physical limitations remain surprisingly vibrant because they still had a reason to stay engaged with life. And I have seen people who looked fine on paper begin to fade because life had grown too quiet, too empty, too disconnected. That is how important this is. If you still have purpose and real human connection in your life, even in a simple form, then you are aging better than many people around you. And if this is the area that feels weakest, please hear me carefully. This does not mean it is over. It means this is the place where healing may need to begin. Connection can be rebuilt. Purpose can be rebuilt. Sometimes it starts very small. A phone call, a morning walk at the same hour, a weekly visit, a class, a church group, a neighbor, a grandchild, a volunteer role, a plant you care for, a promise you keep. A routine that reminds you that your presence still matters. Because it does. More than you know. So let's bring this together. The 7 signs are these. You can rise from a chair without relying on your hands. You can balance for a few seconds and trust your body. You still have a strong grip. You walk at a steady pace without your body struggling too hard. You get sleep that genuinely restores you. Your mind is still curious enough to learn. And your life still contains purpose and connection. Now ask yourself honestly, how many of those are still true for you? If most of them are, then you are likely aging better than most people your age. Not perfectly, not magically, but meaningfully. And you should take real pride in that. Because aging well is not about looking young. It is about staying capable, steady, clear, and connected. That is a far deeper kind of success. And if several of these signs need work, do not hear that as bad news. Hear it as direction. Because every one of these areas can be strengthened. Every single one. Maybe not overnight. Maybe not dramatically. But definitely meaningfully. That is the part too many people forget. The body can respond. The brain can respond. Even the heart can respond when life is given a reason to reach outward again. So do not try to fix all 7. Pick one. Just one. The easiest one. The gentlest one. The one that feels possible tomorrow. Stand from the chair a few extra times. Practice your balance at the counter. Walk a little farther. Protect your sleep. Learn one new thing. Call one person. That is how people age well. Not in one heroic leap, but in quiet, repeatable choices that begin before they feel dramatic. I'm Dr. Elias Novak, and if this spoke to you, then let it be more than something you listen to. Let it be something you use. Because the people who age best are not the ones who wait for the perfect time. They are the ones who start while the change is still small. They start now. They start gently, and they let that effort compound. So if you are over 70, take this as your reminder. Pay attention to what is still strong. Protect it. Notice what is beginning to slip. Train it. And most of all, do not assume that aging means disappearing. It does not. Not when strength is practiced. Not when the mind stays open. Not when the heart stays connected. Take good care of yourself.